Western society has an epidemic of men who lack self-respect. I see it all the time when I go on Instagram, when I go on YouTube, when I see Reddit discussions about how a lot of guys feel like they get treated like an afterthought. They get treated like they're disregarded, like they're not even a human being. And the reason why guys feel like they lack self-respect is for a myriad of factors. One, we live in a society that is literally catered to women. It's a gynocentric society, and it's like that for a reason, fellas. Not only that, but a lot of you guys growing up within the last 2-3 generations, you do not have the strong, masculine, never back down, take no shit attitude that a lot of our fathers and our grandfathers used to have in the past, that establish what a masculine authority, what a masculine example, a masculine leader was supposed to act like. And when we turned on the TV, we would see what? We would see cartoons of guys who were shown as stupid, idiotic, has no sense, listen to what women say. We would watch movies of guys who were simps, who seemed like they couldn't comprehend what was going on. From Homer Simpson to Peter Griffin to Oscar off the Proud Family. And then when we go into actual actors, they were seen as clowns and buffoons. So now you've grown up from your late teens to your early 20s to your late 20s to your early 30s, and you do not really know what self-respect looks like in a man outside of Instagram reels and random YouTube videos from guys like PT Gabe. So many guys are in the trap where they're fighting for their fucking life for self-respect with the women that they're dating, with the friends that they're around, and with their family. So I have to establish the foundation of self-respect, because if you as a man do not have self-respect, your life is gonna be so much more difficult. It's like playing 2K where you're playing on all-star level or you're playing on Hall of Fame. Let me tell you, on Hall of Fame, bro, the odds are not gonna be stacked in your favor. So we're gonna get into it in this video, but before we do, if you guys enjoy this type of content, first and foremost, like this video and also subscribe if you want more content that shows men how to transform and how to morph their mind from the sacrificial, the helpless pawn into a guy who's a king with full autonomy, freedom, and control, and understands where he's going in his life. Because a lot of guys do not have that, and they're suffering. So we're gonna get into the video. First thing we gotta address, why do men lack self-respect? And just from my 30 years of living, it comes from men not truly understanding their identity. I can really speak to this from my own personal experience. When I was younger, I didn't fully understand the role of a man. As I was growing into my adolescence and into my stage of proving my manhood, my confidence and my self-esteem had a direct correlation to me understanding the role of a man. You see, a lot of us think that as men, we're just meant to give a paycheck to a woman. We're just meant to be a sperm donor. We're just meant to be a cog in the system of this society. But when you truly understand the framework of the society, it cannot last without a man. It can't. You know, in my early 20s, I went through the Me Too movement, where a lot of famous men, and rightfully so, a lot of these men needed to be in prison. But there was a shift where a lot of men felt like they couldn't be masculine, they couldn't have an effect, and you had a lot of movements talking about, we don't need men. Even last year during the election time, a lot of women were talking about the B2 movement, which was a movement in Korea where a lot of women essentially were trying to excommunicate themselves from men and try to have a community where there were no men. I know it sounds fucking insane, because it is, but all throughout Western society, there has been a agenda to make men not understand their value. But brother, in your DNA, in the fabric, in the creation that the Most High made through you, bro, you are essential. And when you understand how essential you are, you're gonna stop struggling with disrespect, with a lack of regard, with the feeling like you're not valued in life. And what are these roles of a man? Well, first and foremost, a man is a protector. A man was always seen and shown as a warrior. All wars are fought by men. Yes, you may have women in certain roles, but all wars are fought by men, whether for good or whether for worse. But when you look at a lot of the warrior societies, like ancient Israel, like ancient Sparta, like ancient Rome, Genghis Khan, Attila the Hun, Montezuma, they were all warriors. And essentially, for you to be a warrior, you had to look death in its eyes and you had to be fearless and go through it. When you understand you're a warrior, not necessarily in a physical battle, but through mental challenges, through spiritual challenges, through social challenges, you understand that you have a certain level of toughness. And when you tap into that, people will respect you. Your woman's gonna respect you. The men around you are gonna respect you. A warrior was respected every single place he went. And when you have that mentality, you automatically have more self-respect, because that taps into your essence as a man to wanna protect yourself, to wanna protect your family, your children, and your country at large. Another male identity was that you're a leader. Bro, do not listen to this programming say that men are not actually meant to lead. Bro, as a man, you are meant to have authority. You guys probably noticed in my last videos, I believe in follow the Bible. And the beautiful thing about the Bible is it shows a man what your true power and essence is supposed to be. Because whenever you looked at Israel, the Most High always sent his messages and his command 90 to 95% of the time through men. He would give his commands through the kings, through the princes, and they had the authority and they had the power to make certain decisions, not only on a governmental structure, not only from a community structure, but even within the household. A lot of you guys do not understand the power of masculine authority. And yeah, in this society, we may not have the same level of power on a community and on a governmental scale, but you still have that power to rule your own situation. And that's what I try to empower and instill within your mind, that even in a society, even in a world that truly is not free for so many men because they're shackled by debt, they're shackled by mental problems, they're shackled by the lack of self-respect and control that they have, you still have the power to be your own king, to rule over your own dominion within your own small cut of your life pie. And when you start to tap into this leadership, people are gonna naturally follow. Your woman's gonna naturally follow. Your kids are gonna naturally follow. Even when it comes to your friends, when you have that essence and that aura, you have other people who want to take charge, who want to follow your lead, who want to see your example. Why do you think so many people followed after Christ? Because he was that leader, he had that authority, and he was that example of influence that people wanted to follow after. So when a man understands that he's a leader, he understands that he has to respect himself as such. And when he has that respect for himself, other people naturally reflect that. And the biggest thing, and in modern society, a lot of guys like to downplay. You know, we live in a culture of quick wins, man. We just here today, gone tomorrow. We don't love these hoes, man. We just gotta go out there and be free. Well, understand that a man's true essence, when he starts to grow and gain wisdom, is that you're a provider. Not only you're a provider of resources, a man has an empire through his resources, whether that's through his job, through his wealth, through, gaining things when he's hunting and gathering, whatever it may be. But the biggest provision that a man can give is wisdom. Why do you think YouTube is a billion, if not trillion-dollar industry? Instagram, Facebook, social media. Why we have the modern Library of Alexandria on our smartphones, on our computers. Because so many men and women as well, but I'm specifically talking to you, brother, because you got two cojones down there. We have avenues to provide wisdom. And as you grow and get older, you start to accumulate this wisdom and people start to want to come for you for wisdom. And that is a part of having a greater level of self-respect, is when you understand all these roles: the warrior, the leader, the provider. When you put all three of those together, what do you get? What do you get? Bro, you should know the answer. What the fuck is the name of my channel? Pawn to a king. You get the identity of a king. You can't call yourself a fucking king when you're afraid to take the reins and be a leader of your life and help lead other people. You can't call yourself a fucking king if you do not have any type of provisions and any type of wisdom to give to other people, especially if you can't even lead yourself. But when you have those things, when you molded those things, and when you've grown and become the man that you were always meant to be, that's when you step out and you identify as a king. And you telling me kings don't have self-respect? You telling me kings don't have the respect of other people? They naturally go into a room and people respect them. So if you're not getting that respect, it's because you're not embodying it. When you embody the life of a pawn, and understand this, when I say king and pawn, I'm not talking about some alpha, beta bullshit, stuff like that, even though that is a real concept. What I'm essentially speaking of is the mentality of how you see yourself. If you see yourself as lowly, if you see yourself as sacrificing for the greater gain of other people, and there's nothing wrong with sacrifice as long as it's within your benefit and for your salvation. Even Christ told us we had to sacrifice and be a servant to other people, right? But you don't serve sin. You don't serve destruction. You don't serve chaos. You don't serve a lack of order. You don't serve things that are gonna pull you down into that weak beta pussy that you used to be. Because when you see yourself as that, you are embodying a pawn. And there's so many people out here who are pawns who are fucking miserable. But when you embody yourself and you see yourself as that king and you start to show yourself each and every day that that's who you really are through your actions, through your decisions, through your vision, through your mission, you start to embody it. And that's how you get the foundation of self-respect, and that's how your life transforms. Do these 3 things. The first thing you need to do is you need to develop a code. And I might make a video on this later in the week. A code is a set of principles that you as a man follow and you ingrain. And if for whatever reason, the woman you're talking to, the friends that you're around, or even your family, even your mom or your dad or whoever's closest to you do not want to abide by your code, then you do the second thing. You separate yourself from people who disrespect you, whether it be on a lower level or whether it be on a higher level. Because one of the biggest aspects of your self-respect is how other people view you. A lot of guys' default self-respect comes from the way other people treat you. And the vast majority of men out here are not getting treated with respect. They're not getting treated like they have confidence, like they're that true gem, that true diamond within. So a lot of times they default to the self-respect of somebody who's not worth their time, who's overlooked, who's overused, who's exploited. So you as a man, you have to try your best to separate from the people who do not give you the self-respect that you deserve. But fair warning, don't overdo it to the point where you got all these boundaries and anytime somebody even comes close to you, boom, explosion. Because you have all these things that are gonna set you off because you're overdoing it, you're overcompensating, right? You're trying to be overly masculine and over aggressive that you run people away. But you can't have people who are calling you out your name, who are ridiculing you, who are using you, and who are exploiting you. Because any man who's honest with himself, when you realize people are mistreating you and you're not doing shit, your psyche is telling you that you're a bitch. I'm just here to be honest with you. You may not be that, but when you tolerate certain things, your mind defaults and says, okay, that's just who I am. A woman can call me out. A woman can waste my time. A woman can use my resources and say, I gotta pay her for a number and all this other crazy stuff. But when you start to take that out, your mind is like, oh shit, I can actually stand up for myself. Maybe I do got balls. And then you start to go on to this transformation where people essentially have to give you self-respect or they're not gonna be within your company, within your presence. That leads me to the last thing. You live your life as the man that you already respect. I know you guys probably go on Instagram, you guys probably go on YouTube. You probably have mentors or people around you, maybe an uncle, maybe a cousin, older brother, who you already respect. Look at them and see what about them is it that you respect and try to model. I'm not telling you to be a carbon copy of another man, but I'm saying there may be certain qualities and characteristics that you want to embody, that you're inspired by, and you start to put it on your agenda, on your plan within your life, that I want to be more courageous, that I want to be more bold, that I want to be more hardworking or ambitious. I want to have my own freedom within my own business. And when you pick these traits and you set them as an agenda, a lot of times they just become a part of you. And you learn to become the man that you've always wanted to be until, boom, you wake up and you're like, bro, I got self-respect. Like for my life, that's been the same thing. Because 10 years ago, I was struggling with this. 8 years ago, I was struggling with this. But for whatever reason, as I just got older and I got more influence and I just became a better man, I just naturally have self-respect now to the point where I'm going to my job, I'm going to these social events. Nobody fucks with me like they used to because they see me as that king, because the Most High has molded me into this. But it took blood, it took sweat, and it took years, brother. Fuck tears, it took years, meaning it takes time. But once you understand that and you get on that path, you will discover that king and you will fucking kick that pawn off the chessboard of your life and you will come fully into your fullness, into your authority, into the warrior, into the leader, into the provider, into the ruler who you are always supposed to be. So I hope this video helped you guys out. Again, if it helped you, help me out by liking it. And also comment down below some things that allow a man to get more self-respect. And if you're new, make sure you guys subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one, man. Peace.